I'm Roland Faraday, and this is Jeanette Ale with Briscoe Academy News. We're here in Ashland, Oregon. Every year, residents and tourists alike enjoy one of the most beautiful parks on the West Coast. Here to tell us more about LIthia Park in the heart of Ashland is Jamie Hirsch.
Because of the vision and concern of the women of early Ashland, this lovely spot exists today. The Women's Civic Club was formed in the early 1900s to create a park for the enjoyment of both citizens and tourists. The thing that bothered the women most was the old flour mill, which had been abandoned. It was surrounded by pigsties, cow barns, and mud puddles. Not exactly what the woman thought would make a good impression on the tourists. The first step involved getting the mill site and other city-owned properties bordering Lithia Creek dedicated as a city park. The mill was torn down the following summer and the first park board was elected. Work was now begun, and year after year the park was improved upon.
And today we are interviewing Eldon Scripter, a historian on Lithia Park. How and when did the Women's Civic Club begin?
Jamie, I'm actually not a historian for the Women's Civic Club. I am the LIthia Park historian, but I can probably tie together some of the history of the Civic Club in as much as how they helped organize LIthia Park. The Ashland Park, as we know it, actually began 1904 when the Chautauqua Association women organized a Chautauqua Women's Club and took on the project of beautifying the Chautauqua grounds. They were joined in 1905 by the Women's Civic Club. The two put their efforts together and created a beautiful park that became so well known that all of Southern Oregon began to use it. And in later years there was such a demand for more park that they expanded from off of the flat area where the Chautauqua Shell is now, down into what is now the entrance to LIthia Park, and there joined hands again, and finally persuaded the city fathers to bring a city ordinance to a vote before the people to create a park commission. And when that passed, we finally had an Ashland City Park.
And here it is today, one of the most beautiful parks in the United States.
In addition to the Women's Civic Club, many other citizens of Ashland have contributed to the creation of LIthia Park. Two of these early Ashland citizens were Domingo Prazzi and Gwen S. Butler. Here with more background on the story is Rachel Kramer.
I am standing here on what used to be the property of Domingo and Louise Prazzi. This property, along with the property of Gwen S. and Alice Butler, was donated by these people to the city of Ashland for the purpose of expanding Lithia Park. Along with this property, the people also donated a beautiful Florentine fountain, which was sculpted in Italy and purchased by the men in San Francisco. The fountain was installed and dedicated on July 4th, 1915. Through the years, the weather and vandalism took its toll on the fountain. Finally, the Cupid had to be removed from the park entirely to prevent further damage. Today, the citizens of Ashland have launched a campaign to restore the fountain and its site. Now let's hear from sculptor Jeffrey Bernard.
Why are you redoing the fountain?
Well, I was asked to redo the fountain by the Historic Commission. In the 1950s and 1960s, this fountain was destroyed by some vandals. And in the last couple of years, the town of Ashland decided that they'd like to have the fountain back in its original condition. So I was offered the job of restoring the fountain.
How long have you been working on the fountain?
Well, I think I started about a month and a half ago, maybe 2 months ago, and been working on it fairly regularly since that time.
How long do you think it will take to complete the fountain?
Well, since there are 5 pieces of the fountain altogether, this is just one of them, although it's probably the most difficult one to repair. 3 of the pieces don't exist anymore and have to be carved from some stone which we're going to import from Italy. I think altogether, by the time all 5 pieces are done, it'll probably be a half-a-year project.
Okay, was the fountain made from marble? If so, what kind?
The fountain itself, the part, this is the base, and there are 5 pieces, all of which are made of marble. It rests on a stand which is in a pool. The pool is made of cement, and that's being repaired right now. If you go to LIthia Park, you can see they're doing the cement work. I'm going to be doing the repair work on the marble pieces. There are 2 different types of marble here. This type is called fiore di pesci, which is an Italian word which means peach blossom. And as I showed you before, the stone has all the colors of a peach, from the red to yellows to pinks and oranges. That's where it gets the name of peach blossom, fiore di pesci.
Why aren't you using the cupid?
Well, we're going to use the cupid to make a mold and cast another cupid to put on top. The cupid that we have now has been damaged and it's got large cracks in it. And when water gets in those cracks and freezes, it forces the cracks open and could possibly damage the whole cupid figure. So what we're planning to do is put the original cupid in a Swedenborg oven and make a cast of the original and put that on the top of the fountain. Also, that way, in case there is any more vandalism, we'll still have the original piece.
Keeping the park beautiful and up to the high standards of the past is a big job. In recent years, much has been accomplished with the restoration and maintenance of LIthia Park. Here with more detailed information on what we can look for in the future is Lori Strauss.
I asked Ken Mickelson, Director of the Parks and Recreation Department, to tell us about the Japanese Garden, one of the most recent park restoration projects.
Gardens were an original design feature of LIthia Park, and they were designed by John McLaren back in the early 1900s. For many years, the Japanese garden flourished and had many structures that you would see normally in a Japanese garden. There used to be a tea house here, a cottage where the gardener used to live. But over the years, the area sort of got run down and didn't have a lot of maintenance to it. But one of our goals in the restoration project of LIthia Park was to restore some of the natural elements and natural features of the park. And the Japanese garden was certainly one of those. So about 2 years ago, we started the preliminary works to restore the Japanese garden, and the product you see now is the result of that work.
Ken, what other projects have been completed recently or are now underway?
Years ago, the Park Commission took a major restoration project of LIthia Park to, as I indicated earlier, to restore some of the natural features and to upgrade many of the areas of the park. We've established new lawn areas, redid the playground area, put in new irrigation systems, many new plantings throughout the park. So it's been a major restoration project to try to upgrade the park.
What do you think is the most important job in your department?
Well, boy, all the jobs are important in our department, but I would probably say one of the most important jobs that a Park and Recreation Department has is to preserve the natural features of the land and open space for future generations. So just as we're enjoying this park today, future generations also will have an opportunity to enjoy the beauty of LIthia Park. And if people hadn't done that back many, many years ago, we would not be blessed with the park system we have in Ashland today. And I think another very important job is certainly providing recreational opportunities for all segments of the population to engage in their leisure time activities. So I think that's really 2 very important functions that a Park and Recreation Department plays in the community.
Well, Mary, we can certainly see how much effort and dedication has gone into the creation and maintenance of this lovely park. You're right, Jeanette. I'm sure we all appreciate our park a little bit more now. So have a great day at the park.
Crew. I'm Merlin Verde. And I'm Janetta Allen.
Marcus McNeil.
Johanna Mies.
Emily Grant.
This is Park Today. My name is Lori Strauss.
And I am Blake Sargent.
My name's Ellen Tobias.
My name's Erin Heller.
And Jessica Mosowski's absent. This is the Butler Parazzi Parent Group. I'm Rachel Kramer, Elena Buchman, Leah Calhoun,
Erin Rutledge.
Denise Mead.
We're the Women's Civic Club group. I'm Jamie Hirsch.
Cole Snitzer,
Corey Meisner.
Debbie Kurtzstead-Ross.
Eric Antonin.